Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, today I stand before you on this important occasion of the World Humanitarian Day held annually on August 19. 20 years have passed since the bombing of the UN headquarters in Iraq, which injured and killed humanitarian workers. Following this, the United Nations General Assembly designated this day as World Humanitarian Day as a fitting tribute to all humanitarian workers whose commitment, passion, resilience, and on-the-ground knowledge are highly instrumental in alleviating suffering, promoting human dignity, and fostering sustainable development. Today, as we gather to celebrate World Humanitarian Day, we are presented with an opportunity to reflect on the vital issues that shape the landscape of humanitarian work in the Philippines and around the world. This gives us the chance to delve into the challenges, achievements, and aspirations of our nation as it endeavors to provide succor to the afflicted and embrace our role as responsible global citizens. Our country has long grappled with the unforgiving forces of nature, socioeconomic disparities, and the burdens of armed conflict that repeatedly test the resilience of our communities. Our people have faced the wrath of typhoons, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and more time and again. Each catastrophe serves as a grim reminder of the necessity for a well-coordinated, timely, and effective humanitarian response, reminding us that humanitarian work is not merely an option, but an imperative. It is during such time of adversity that our commitment to humanitarian principles is most fervently tested, and it is our collective responsibility to ensure that the affected communities are supported, uplifted, and helped back on their feet. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, over the years, the Philippines has honed its ability to respond swiftly and efficiently to crises. Government agencies, non-government organizations, and volunteers have worked hand in hand to provide immediate relief, medical aid, and shelter to those affected. We have made strides in disaster preparedness, early warning systems, and evacuation procedures. Yet the challenge remains in ensuring that no one is left behind in the aftermath of these disasters, particularly those who reside in remote areas or those who belong to marginalized communities. However, our humanitarian work must not be confined within our borders. Our global village is connected by threads of our common humanity, and when one part of the tapestry suffers, the whole world feels the impact. It is heart-wrenching to witness the unending strife in places like Syria, Yemen, and countless others. Innocent lives are caught in the crossfire of conflicts fueled by political, religious, and territorial disputes. As members of the international community, we have a moral responsibility to contribute to the healing process and extend the helping hand to those who cry out for aid. Refugees and asylum seekers, driven from their countries by turmoil, look to us for refuge and hope. Stateless persons who exist on the fringes of society without the protection of any nation deserve recognition and support to belong and secure their rightful place in the world. Populations at risk of statelessness, often marginalized and vulnerable, require our attention to prevent the devastating consequences of legal invisibility. In the face of the growing threat of climate change, natural disasters of increasing intensity and occurrence, internally displaced persons are forcibly uprooted from their daily lives in search for a place to call home. In fact, globally, forced displacement is at an all-time high. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, or UNHCR, 108.4 million people worldwide have fled due to persecution, conflict, violence, among others as of end of 2022. This is 19 million more compared to 2021. To better paint a picture of how high this is, my dear colleagues, this is more than the populations of the Netherlands, Ecuador, or Somalia. We have unfortunately raised a devastating record of people forced to flee around the world. The Filipino people have a history steeped in solidarity and compassion. This is observed in the 9 waves of refugees in the Philippines. Isa nga po dito ang mga European Jews who fled Nazi persecutions during World War II. Sa katunayan, meron nang isang pelikulang ginawa dito, pinamagatang Quezon's Game ni Director Matthew Rosen na tumanggap ng maraming parangal sa ibang bansa. Sa Tel Aviv, sa bansang Israel, merong isang monumento ni President Quezon na doon ipinapakita ang legacy ng Pilipinas sa pagbukas ng ating mga pinto when no one else did not. As lawmakers, our constituents have provided us with the honor and the responsibility to protect the forcibly displaced and deprived of their nationality and allow them to achieve long-term and durable solutions through legislation. By doing so, we do not only uphold our international obligations, but also strengthen our nation's value of inclusivity. Years after those 9 waves of refugees to the Philippines, we have continued to keep this legacy alive. At present, we host more than 180,000 internally displaced persons in Mindanao, around 1,600 refugees and asylum seekers, more than 125,000 stateless persons, stateless applicants, and populations at the risk of statelessness. The prevalence and recurrence of disasters and conflict demands a response of empathy and goodwill, one that is anchored on our being part of the same human family. We are, after all, human beings who deserve to live in safety and dignity. Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, the Philippines has consistently demonstrated its dedication to humanitarian work and rehabilitation efforts. Government agencies, civil society organizations, and international partners such as the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees have worked in tandem to provide immediate aid, medical assistance, food and shelter to those affected by disasters. We have seen communities come together, binding their wounds with compassion and care, inspired by our shared humanity. However, let us not be complacent, for there remain remote areas that deserve to receive the attention and aid they deserve. I therefore call on our esteemed colleagues to proactively support the passage of several proposed legislative measures now pending before Congress, which aim to provide comprehensive protection for refugees, asylum seekers, stateless applicants, stateless persons, and populations at risk of statelessness. We must likewise prioritize the development of infrastructure as well as the necessary human resources that facilitate swift response and ensure the equitable distribution to every corner of our archipelago. With the leadership of our House Speaker, Martin Romualdez, and with the strong commitment of Tingog Party List led by Representative Yeda Marie Romualdez, I have no doubt that together we can further strengthen the protection mechanism to ensure that no one is left behind. As elected representatives of the people, let us be reminded that we have not only the power, but the duty to champion and shape policies that prioritize the well-being and dignity of all individuals, irrespective of their circumstances. This duty also extends beyond the borders of our nation, reaching to those who are in dire need across the globe. Let us strive to create a world where the privilege of humanitarian assistance is not determined by nationality, race, or creed, but the same humanity that we all share. Our commitment to international humanitarian aid not only aligns our values, but also fosters goodwill and diplomatic ties, strengthening our position as a compassionate and responsible nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, one final point. Central to our humanitarian ethos is the principle of equity and inclusivity. It is essential to acknowledge the socio-economic disparities that persist within our nation and around the world. Marginalized communities, they be indigenous peoples, ethnic minorities, or poor populations, often find themselves disproportionately impacted by calamities. In an ever-evolving world, the integration of technology into humanitarian work has proven to be a game changer, redefining our ability to respond to crisis effectively. Embracing these technological advancements, such as data analytics and innovative communication tools, will undoubtedly enhance our ability to provide timely and effective disaster assessment, aid distribution, and resource allocation. By harnessing these tools, we can optimize our humanitarian response, minimize duplication of efforts, and maximize the positive impact of our intervention. As a former humanitarian worker myself, having served as a country director for an international humanitarian organization, I have seen how partnerships are the cornerstone of success. Collaboration between governments and non-government organizations, the private sector and international bodies best exemplified in the work of the UNCHR around the world is essential for achieving sustainable solutions. Now, as an elected representative of the people, I believe that it is important that we take steps to foster an enabling environment that encourages these collaborations, ensuring that resources are pooled, knowledge is shared, and strategies are harmonized for the greater good. Furthermore, our commitment to humanitarian work cannot be detached from the larger context of sustainable development. Humanitarian aid is not a standalone endeavor, but an integral part of the broader goals set forth in the Sustainable Development Goals. As we strive to alleviate immediate suffering, we must also address the systemic issues that perpetuate vulnerability. Education, healthcare, gender equality, and livelihood opportunities are all critical components of our holistic approach to humanitarian work. As we extend aid to those directly affected by crisis, we must also address the systemic issues that perpetuate inequity, discrimination, and poverty. By investing in education, healthcare, and sustainable livelihoods, we can disrupt this cycle of vulnerability and empower individuals and communities to forge better futures, ensuring that no one is left behind in our pursuit of a more just and compassionate society. In celebration of the World Humanitarian Day, we have initiated a week-long photo exhibit to shed light on the impact of internal displacement, refugee protection, and addressing statelessness. I am grateful to Tingog Party List Representative Yeda Marie Romualdez, as well as the members of the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development for supporting this initiative. I would like to invite you all to visit the South Wing Lobby to uncover the compelling narratives and experiences, as well as exploring the protection of those who have left their homes by no choice of their own. More than the hardship that they find themselves in, these people are best defined by their resilience, something that we Filipinos share with them, and their dreams and aspirations for a brighter future. Likewise, I would like to invite all of you to the Legislative Forum on the same topic that we have organized on the 17th of August, 2023 at the Legislative Executive Lounge from 9 a.m. onwards. In conclusion, esteemed colleagues, as we stand on the precipice of a more interconnected world, the urgency of humanitarian work has never been more pronounced. Our nation's commitment to compassion, empathy, and solidarity is a testament to our common humanity. Let us therefore recommit ourselves to the principles that drive us to alleviate suffering, champion justice, and build a world where every individual, regardless of circumstance, can flourish. May our efforts in the realm of humanitarian work best reflect our nation's values and aspirations. May all our actions and endeavor continue to be a source of hope, healing, and unity for all. May we all rise united above every adversity in fulfilling our shared responsibility to uplift the vulnerable, heal the wounded, and inspire a world where compassion knows no bounds. Sa muli, maraming salamat po, madamo nga salamat, mabuhay tayong lahat.